Hello and welcome to Lap of the World. I'm Richard.
I'm Liz, and this is our 1992 Acura NSX.
It has 280,000 miles on it. It's lapped 20 or so different racetracks.
And we're driving it from Knoxville, Tennessee to Washington, D.C. for NSXPO 2019.
So join us as we hit the track and the street with 100 or so other owners in celebrating the history and the future of those three iconic letters. The final full day of NSXPO 2019 kicked off indoors with a concourse and vendor showcase in one of the convention halls at the Gaylord National Harbor, featuring immaculate examples of all generations of NSX, including a true unicorn in the form of an authentic 1994 Type R. The show floor was a slice of Honda Acura heaven. Alongside the cars, Acura, Common Fibers, Eagle Pens, NSX DIY, NSX Rack Repair, Real-Time Racing, and Science of Speed all had their apparel, wares, and services on display. A special thanks to Common Fibers for breakfast and Science of Speed for lunch today. The show floor remained open into the late afternoon as the judging for several categories wrapped up and other folks opted to take shuttles into the city to sightsee. All right, well, after an interesting evening last night, we took an impromptu tour of Washington, D.C. and some of the monuments in order to burn off gas to get down to a quarter tank to meet fire code because, as you can tell behind us,
It was an indoor concourse.
Yep, Concourse was inside one of the pretty massive rooms here at the convention center with the Gaylord Resort.
So it's starting to clear out a little bit because we've been going since, I think cars started coming in at 6:30.
Yep, last call to move a car in was 8:30, and then I think some of the judging for the various prizes they're going to do started around 9. So yeah,
Fingers crossed, maybe we'll win something.
Yeah, we've been just kind of milling around and talking to folks and catching up, and Liz has been slinging some t-shirts for real-time racing, and yeah. I've been looking like a goober with a video camera.
As you do.
As I do. Yeah, I think, it's a neat event. Some of the highlights, they've got the new yellow NC1 here again. They also had a legitimate 1994 Type R NSX drive down all the way down from Canada, Ontario, to come to the NSX Expo in general, and had his car on display today, and that was a special treat. It's the first legitimate, not a replica Type R that I've seen.
Nice guys too.
Yeah, really nice. So yeah, thanks for bringing that if you're watching. But
yeah. So after that, we are going to pack up here and probably go relax for a little bit before cocktail hour and silent auction that starts at 5:30 or 6:30.
Yep. So that'll be fun, and following that will be the sort of final banquet.
Live auction, final banquet, speeches,
yep.
And announcement of 2020 NSX Expo.
Yep. So we get to see whether our guesses on day one, that was day 0, I guess I called it. Were our guesses on the drive up on target or way off?
Like I said in that video, I think wherever it is, we'll be there.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right. Well, we are going to go relax. I'm probably going to edit some video, as I do, and we will see you guys maybe a little bit this evening, but I don't know. I think it's one of those things with the final banquet that you got to be there.
Yeah.
So we'll share the news with you, what we find out, and probably talk to you from the road on the way back home.
See ya.
One shout out to the NSX Expo team back in Washington. The legacy of this car, of course, goes back a long way.
With the evening's festivities concluded, we left National Harbor for the last time the following morning, and then promptly stopped to zip tie back up a fender liner that had made a bid for freedom before finally continuing on our way home. Alright folks, well that is about a wrap. We are returning to you, headed south, begrudgingly towards home in Knoxville and real life. It's been 4 and a bit amazing days with all of our NSX, Acura, and real-time family and friends at this point, so that's been good.
Yeah, it's been great. We always look forward to seeing people. So we last left you at the car show and vendor showcase.
Yep.
And after that, we went back to get ready to head to the cocktail hour and silent auction.
Yep, yeah, cocktail hour was interesting. We actually ended up live streaming part of the Petit Le Mans from Road Atlanta, and got a shout out from John Davis, the vice president of Acura, who was
really cool.
down at the race and knew we were watching. So that was a
a surprise for everyone.
Cool little moment. Yeah, they were all said like, "Just come inside, we got something to show you." And everyone's like, "What is it?" Like, "Oh yeah, hey look, that's us."
Yeah, no, that was cool. So the silent auction happened during the cocktail hour, and it actually went really well. There were some great items.
Yeah, lots of really cool stuff from a bunch of the different vendors.
Yeah, a lot of stuff, and not just vendors. There was stuff from other teams, but specifically there was stuff donated by Common Fibers, Cedar Ridge Fabrication, and Science of Speed. All donated items for the auction, and they all sold very well.
Yep, wishing Dave from Cedar Ridge a quick recovery. He wasn't able to make it due to some medical issues,
year.
But always missed. But yeah, so that segued into dinner, and we heard from several people, I think, that were that was cool updates and goings on.
Yeah, we heard from both Ted Klaus and John Watts from Acura, and then also, of course, from our club president, Peter Cunningham.
The esteemed Peter Cunningham, yep.
Yes.
Now Ted talked a bit about kind of Acura Motorsports, which was kind of very timely. They ended up securing, I want to say 2, with maybe a third on the table. They didn't quite make. I think they got. There was a manufacturers championship. They got bumped out by 1 point on in one class, but they won, I think, 2 other class championships for the season with sports car racing. So that was an IMSA IMSA Series championship. So that was pretty cool to watch and hear, as live as the news was coming in from Petit Le Mans there as well.
So after our presenters, we also had a keynote speaker.
Yep, that was John Davis from Motorweek fame, which is, I think they said he was now or is approaching being the longest running TV host ever.
It was really fun listening to him.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Motorweek, it is I would consider a very factual car review show that's on generally like a public television somewhere. And they've done all kinds of stuff. So the meat of his presentation was just about the several of the NSX reviews, because he's been presenting long enough that he reviewed the original NSX when it came out, and various revisions of it, through the NA2 generation, as well as the facelift cars in 2002, as well as then the 2017 car when it came out. And it was interesting to hear his opinions about that, and
it was cool to see the old commercials too. He also played the first commercials about the NSX.
Yeah, that was fun to watch, and that. So then from there we segued into a live auction that had a bunch of cool stuff, including that trip to NSX Fiesta in Japan on offer.
We did not win that.
We did not
or
win
any other live auction items. I as much as I tried to convince Richard, it just got too steep for us for the Fiesta.
Yeah, some people wanted it more than we did this year, and
however, some items went for really good cause.
Yeah, we had an NSX owner from Japan who's come over several times now. I think he had served as, or worked as a, not worked I think, but he had offered his services as a translator to some of our folks when they'd gone over to visit Japan and NSX Fiesta in years past, and he has then come to several NSX Expos in the U.S., but he actually got stuck because there was there's a Pacific typhoon hitting Japan, and so he had some flights get canceled.
Yeah, and because it's weather related, unfortunately, flights just get canceled, and then it's on him to reschedule and pay for those flights. So I think we both were really, it's just another reason why we love the NSX community. You know, one of our members is trying to figure out how to get home, and basically 2 of our vendors, Science of Speed and Eagle Pen, came through, donated items, and actually people bid on them in the live auction, and people bid on them generously.
Yep.
And all those proceeds went to buying Koji plane tickets home.
Yep. So we got our Japanese brother taken care of through the generosity of the NSX community, which I think just, again, I've said this before and I will wear out this statement, but with the NSX, you buy it for the car, you keep it for the people.
Couldn't agree more. And Koji said he would definitely be coming back next year.
Yeah. So we will see him in. They announced where NSX 2020 was.
They did.
We were right.
I was about to say, Richard. Let's say, were we right?
We
Drum
were right.
roll. Yes. So NSX Expo 2020 will be in Portland.
Yep, Portland, Oregon specifically, not Maine.
Yes.
That was a question that came up. But no, it's going to the, that was one of our guesses. We weren't very specific with it, but Pacific Northwest was one of our guesses just because it hadn't been there in a while.
Yeah.
And it was West
Coast. For the record, behind the scenes, we were saying that we thought it would be kind of that Seattle-Portland area.
I mean, if you're talking about Pacific Northwest, you're having to have it near kind of a city where there are big enough venues.
Yes.
It narrows it down. No offense to like Spokane and other towns up there, but but no, that should be interesting. So we've already done the math, and that's I think Google just gave up on quoting hours and said 1 day and 1 day and 13 hours or something like that.
13 hours. So it actually is. Obviously, we've already started planning our trip out there, and math-wise, it's about the same as us driving to San Francisco when we did last year. So it's about 38 hours,
give or take.
But we might find some fun stuff to do along the way. I think both routes we looked at, there are a couple tracks along the way.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what kind of.
Well, we've got a year to plan. It is a little earlier next year, though.
Yeah, they're doing it.
It's in August.
In August, right before whatever that holiday
Memorial
is.
Day.
Thank you.
No, Labor Day. Labor Day.
I was going to say Memorial Day too, so don't feel too bad. Now, yeah. So that should be fun. I think it'll be a nice. At that point in the year, getting up to that area will be a nice break from the heat and humidity that's invariably happening in the southeast around that time. So I think that's going to be really cool. But no, I mean beyond that, the dinner was great. It was always the evening went amazingly well, and
everything went really smooth.
It's always bittersweet to leave. You've been busy with activities the whole week, so you feel like you can kind of relax a little bit, but at the same time, everything was awesome, so you don't really want to go home.
Well, and the people, I think that's the other part that's really tough, is because the people are great. There were a lot of new faces this year, but a lot of people that we've gotten to know really well over the years, and from all over the world. And it's always hard to leave the people. I agree with you that we're running around so much when we're at Expo. It's kind of nice just to relax.
Yeah.
But the people are hard to leave.
Yeah. Every time.
But next year will be great, and we are already looking forward to it, and hopefully some of those people we'll see in between.
Yep. So as we are
losing light,
we're driving off into the sunset here, very literally in this case, down sort of southeast down I-81. We will sign off for this NS Expo. Stay tuned for future installments. We'll probably have some cutting room floor highlight reel coming your way, as well as some Subaru Bro there, as well as as well as some,
highlighting some of the swag that we got.
Yeah,
right?
sort of not just cutting room floor video highlights, but also just kind of our personal highlights once we've had a chance to think about it a little bit. And then normal service should resume. So I think on that note, I'm Richard.
And I'm Liz.
This is still Lap of the World, and we will see you in the next video, if not at the track.